let's be honest though, because sometimes this little season right here does not feel like it's for single people. Okay,
mad disrespectful.
Mad disrespect.
There is so much focus on Valentine's Day in the month of February, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's the month of love. It's National Heart Month.
Yeah.
Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. February, everything is beaten into you that you're single. That's
incorrect. Because when it's cold outside, it's cuddle season.
Well, you're right.
But lucky you, we're here to help you, ladies and gentlemen, with a video for how to deal with loneliness in a season created for couples. February is the month with the most suicides. A lot of people, it's really hard for them to grasp the fact that they're lonely on a holiday that is filled with love. You see it at work, you see it at home, every single commercial, every single time you walk in the grocery store, there's an aisles devoted to this holiday.
And of course, with social media, is always a constant reminder what you don't have, and then what you want to obtain when you look in on there and see everybody else post about, the next day about their Valentine's, even that day, their Valentine's plans, and as well as after, you still see it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times what's keeping you grounded is focusing on those things, focusing on being lonely, focusing on what everyone else is doing on social media. Focus too much on when you go to the store, the whole aisle is dedicated to being in love. And, it's okay because God gave you a promise that you will eventually have that person that you can spend that Valentine's Day with. And when you go to the store, it's going to not be a reminder that you're single, but a reminder, I got a good man.
Okay, because Valentine's Day is every day.
Yes, Valentine is every day. And you walk in like, oh, yeah, that's right, it is Valentine's Day. Because I don't know, because he treats me like a Valentine every day around the clock.
Shut up, future man.
Yes.
You're so sweet.
I knew I had a good one. But you just have to wait until God reveals that promise to you.
Yeah.
So,
one thing I do want to add to that. So, God will grant you the desires of his heart, and he promises you that. And this verse in Genesis 15, chapters 1 through 6, really kind of solidifies that for you. So, Nickaboo.
Quickly, I want to read that. It says, Genesis 15:1. It says, sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision and said to him, do not be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you and your reward will be great. And in verse 2, it talks about how Abram was pretty much saying, but wait a minute, God, but I don't have a offspring now. Abram was going into the fact that what he don't have right at the moment, and God was already trying to tell him your blessing is going to be great, but you're too focused on, but I don't have what you're saying.
Other people in the Bible who have felt that they didn't have right now what God was promising them. However, God had to go outside and remind them that, you don't have what you want right now, but I have it for you. That's one of the things that we miss, is we miss God's promise because we're so busy focused on what we don't have right now. And instead, we're focused on what, we don't have, but God is trying to remind us of what he will have for us because he put that desire in our heart.
Yeah, like I feel like God revealed to me that I will be married. I think it may come sooner versus later, not sure. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to rush something. If God promised me something, then I'm going to wait until he completely reveals who that person is.
Right.
I'm not going to focus on, like, how long be married and you haven't even set up the right men for me to date, let alone to marry. And I think that's the problem. We look at the small picture.
Right.
Gotta look at the big picture.
Right.
Like, why are you so focused on what, not having a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, when God already promised you that you will be married.
Right.
Let's not focus on that. Of course, you're going to get there, but just know in your future that I have a man who will treat you like a Valentine always.
We covered the feeling of loneliness in the season for couples, and we make it comical, but sometimes it's not comical.
Yeah.
We also covered, what's keeping you grounded, the promise that God gave Abraham. He grants us the desires of our heart, and he's giving you and I and Nikaboo the same exact promises. And number 3, let's talk about tactics to overcome that loneliness, that feeling of loneliness, and how you can best stand on God's word.
So I think the best thing to do is, as soon as you feel down and depressed, the fact that you don't have a man, the first thing you do is you pick up the Bible and God and pray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
God will even further reveal to you in prayer and in his word what he wants for you, and he will give you peace with being in your single state. You know what I mean? He will bring peace upon you and make you realize that I'm okay. I may not be with someone, but I'm okay not being with someone and being alone.
Yeah.
Not lonely, but being alone.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things that we want to go over, some do's and not to do's. So there's a couple of things that we want to go over, some do's and not to do's. What not to do.
So number 1, what not to do is compare yourself to others.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? To other people's relationship. What you have to understand is it's okay to be alone and not compare somebody else's relationship, because yours will be coming eventually.
Right.
Where you don't even have to compare your relationship to anyone, because God's going to give you someone that the only thing you're going to be focused on is you and him.
Yeah. So it leads us into what to do. The what to do is to change your perspective on the holiday and the month. So, in thinking in terms of that, it's hard to not look at your friends and not be sad because you don't have the rose teddy bear. I mean, it is what it is. You'll get it one year. Just this ain't your year. Yeah. Just change your perspective on that, and instead focus on, man, I'm really happy for Sandra because, she's been going through a lot and she deserves a good man, because the heart that is happy for another person is going to make you a better person.
Yeah. And what not to do, number 2. Don't rush God's timing. If God tells you to walk in your purpose, walk. Emphasis on walk in your purpose. Don't run. Because when God tells you to walk, there's a reason why he's telling you slowly get there. Because at the end, I will take you to that place where you're going to be extremely happy and fulfilled. I will grant you that desire of your heart at the right time.
Right.
But when you run there, God will just step back and allow you to do it, because he needs permission from you to allow him to do his will, his way in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when we take off, of course, a lot of times that's us saying, you know what, God, I got this. You're taking too long.
God, can you help me my finances, but just stay away from my relationship?
Yes.
Because Tyrone, he nice.
Today is what? Valentine's is around the corner. I gotta run. I gotta do this. I'll be right back. But I gotta do, because I gotta make it before Valentine's, which is February the 14th. I got to be able to post about this situation. So it's like, do not take your time. Do not rush the process.
So what to do? Trust God's timing. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer because God is preparing you and he wants you to manifest. He wants things that he's placed in you to continue to manifest. And so you have to allow that. So definitely trust God's timing. Number 3 on the what not to do.
Don't focus on what you
don't have.
So, you don't have a man. Great. Okay? What you do have is a job.
2 bomb friends. Nikaboo and Jazzy to go.
I love you.
Yes. We here for you, and we here for you.
Your bills paid on time. That's what you did do. That's what you have. Paid bills.
Okay.
Man, it better
have been a little late,
but
it was paid nonetheless.
It was paid. So let's not focus on what you don't have, but and Jazzy Nicole gonna tell you what to do.
So make this month about self-love. So don't necessarily focus on what you don't have, but instead focus on what you do have and continue to love yourself.
Yes.
Make it all about self-love. You don't see a lot of self-love posts in the month of February, but trust me, it is so important. Yeah. And if you have struggles with trying not to focus on what you don't have, then keep going back and rereading Genesis 15, 1-6, because it's going to remind you, what promises God made to you, because he loves you and he will grant you the desires of your heart, but you have to stand on his word and you have to be patient.
Yes. And I think a great book in the Bible to read as well is 1 Corinthians. It talks a lot about love and how being single is a great thing. Yes. And there's nothing wrong being single. It will help you really focus all your energy on what God has for you and God's promise and things like that. So I would say, 1 Corinthians is a real good book if you are struggling in your singleness.
Yes, and we definitely wish you the best. So, we're always reachable. You have our Facebook information that will be in the link below if you're watching via YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, of course, you can just like our page, share our posts, and also message us on there. We're definitely wishing the best for you in this season. We lift you all up in this season, and we know that loneliness can be hard, but we also know that our God is greater. So keep that in mind. Okay, boo?
Anyways, until next time, people.
Bye.
Single. Oh, in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl. Put your head up, boy. Keep your head up. That's right.
I don't know. Is that? That's right.
Yeah.
She started that.